come play with me. Hey, no breaks, do this till the death of me. I'm with Elohim, careful what you say to me. Better watch your talk. We been the chosen ones, I heard you claim to be. Yeah. What do you got, hey, what do you got? What do you got, cause talk is cheap. What do you got, you see me sick. Yeah, we got that remedy. What do you got, hey, what do you got? Heard you got that kill for me. What do you got, cause I need help. What do you got, cause talk is cheap. So I dedicate to do this every week. Yeah, we not moving corners, so they thinking that we weak. Yeah. Never get it twisted, ayy, don't sleep. We the sanctified, we pull up to your hood to clean the sheet. Yeah. And I'm blessed. Wolfie on the crest, yeah. All I do is raving, praying for the rest. To the east, from the west, on a quest, never rest. About that work, dog, about it, I'm obsessed, yeah. Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock.
Hit the block, make it hot, they be shocked, that's a wop. Watch a doctor, head chop, body drop. Get the mop, this a jam, this a bop. For the flock, top of top. How much love, that's a lot. On the quest, not a yacht. Got a Glock, it don't pop, that's a prop. Nigga stop, ain't no fear in the mirror. Check your spirit watch, we just pick a corner. We any money more. From here to California, we pull up at Itsr corner. Kamikaze sliding like conveyor bells. If you try to play the prophet, you gon' play yourself. Saturday to day, we on the way with hell. Big soldier, we take orders like okay, what else? Check the stats, all facts, never cap. We be everywhere we at, on the map, in the trap. Me and Ja, back to back, boots black, script strap. Missiles with that, this and that. Friday night, take a nap. We wake up, it's a wrap.
Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock.
Reloaded.
I just sent another page to put in order.
Check.
Yeah. Bless his head. Bless his head. Bless his head. Yeah. See, I've been going through some things you don't know. Been holding too long, I can't hold it no more. The old man wants to kill me, but he don't know that I've been dying daily, so we gon' fall. Even if I do fall, I don't stay too long. I may go fast to pray and add on one thing. 2 chapters every day, Genesis to Revelation, gonna read, hold your pace. I can say things written in the past was for today. Oh, when I be all up in them scriptures, no, them demons can't get in addition, no. Revelation 1 and 3, no. Blessed is he I read. When I be going through some things, no, I read. When I be going through my trials, no, I read. Deuteronomy be killing me, I read. Blessed is he, blessed is he I read. When I be going through some things, you know, I read. When I be going through my trials, you know, I read. Deuteronomy be killing me, I read. Blessed is he, blessed is he. I've been reading to learn, you know, how the devil use those that don't know themselves. Or how the Most High God knows those that will be the pure gold standing in the end. Oh, how we will rise if we die in the ride. The dead that's in Christ will meet us in the sky. Gotta read from 9 to 5, the devil hide in the grass like a roaring lion. Hold that, James 1:25. Don't forget the when I read, I gotta hold inside. Whoa, when I be all up in them scriptures, no, them demons can't get in addition, no. Revelation 1 and 3, no. Yeah. Blessed is easy, I read. When I be going through some things, no,
My people going to war. We bringing out the fire. Those heathens we ignore. Cause we know that they're liars. I'm reading in the we reading in the they reading in
Shalom, brothers. Shalom, sisters. Most High in Christ bless. It's Officer Lemuel. Y'all are tuned in the scripts.
Reloaded.
All praise to the Most High. I sound like my mic low.
Mine too.
All praise to the Most High. Who I got on my left?
Officer Shema Judah.
Who I got on my right?
Officer Karim.
All praise to the
The
Most High.
juice,
So
man.
We got the juice.
We got the juice.
We got the juice. That's the song.
We got the juice. We got the juice.
That's right. Juice man himself is in the
Yeah,
building.
man.
We got
Hey, all praise. It's an honor to be here.
All praise to the
praise
Most
to the
High.
Most High.
I can't even hear I can't hear his mic.
Turn it up.
So all praise to the Most High. We got to hear this brother, man.
That's right.
So I know y'all see we got one. We missing one. Officer Yakub.
Y'all cool.
He's recovering right now. So Lord's will, he'll get better sooner rather than later. He'll be back. But we got a very welcome guest. So all praise to the Most High.
That's
All
right. That's right.
So we got a lot to go through. Officer Yakub, you was in the spirit last week with the title because we want to. This is basically a part 2 of what we talked about last week, dealing with how the medical industry has a history of oppression against the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Last week we dealt with the Tuskegee experiment. We touched on it heavily last week. We're gonna go prior to the Tuskegee experiment. We're gonna touch on the Tuskegee experiment a little bit more, and then we're gonna move it up to today with how they pushing heavily
Exactly.
the Pfizer and Moderna. They trying to push their vaccines heavily to Israel. So we're gonna touch on it because Esau's crafty as hell. They the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
They are born liars.
Bring it out.
So what they're trying to push, oh, you need the we need you to take the vaccine. We need you blacks
Right.
to take the vaccine because
Right.
that's how we gonna know if it actually works. If that's if this is the way. You're the key.
You're the key. So if y'all fall out dead, then we know that we shouldn't take it.
Yeah, we shouldn't take it. We'll
try something
reformulate
else.
some
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
We'll figure something else out.
Right.
Come
Hey,
on
also,
now,
it was
dawg.
heavy. You talked about the Tuskegee experiment. Remember a couple of months ago, Donald Trump said y'all should be careful because history could repeat itself.
Hey, see if y'all can find
remember
that. See if y'all can find that in the
Esau be knowing what
background.
they talking about months in advance.
See if y'all can find that. See if y'all can find that video. Because Esau, especially Trump, man. Trump was telling y'all what it was.
Right. Hey, when he found out he wasn't gonna be in office, he was like, "Man, I don't care no more. I'm gonna let him know."
He gave up. He was like, F it. We
Hey,
throwing everything out there.
Put it all out
Put
there.
it all out
If
there.
I'm going down, we all going down.
We're all going down.
Shoot, he trying to start wars and everything else, man.
Man, he going out with a bang shebang.
yeah.
A literal bang.
A literal bang.
Right.
So we're going to read through some of these articles, like maybe the first paragraph or two, because we want to do a build-up. We're going to do a build-up. So start with this first article.
Revealed. Every single U.S. state is being advised to consider ethnic minorities as critical groups for vaccination, with half prioritizing black and Hispanic residents over white.
So Esau ain't gave a damn about blacks and Hispanics ever
Right.
in the history of this country.
Right.
So now in 2020, all of a sudden, they are trying to prioritize the health and safety of blacks and Hispanics in America.
Right,
the hell is
right.
this?
Hey, officer, black people, we the poorest in the country too. So why don't we get our stimulus checks first?
We need it. That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
right,
You know,
right.
Come on now, dog.
Hell yeah.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
come on now.
Right.
Cut them checks first.
Right.
Right
If y'all
on,
really
right on.
serious about helping blacks and Hispanics, why don't you
Right.
cut them checks first?
So the thing about it is that they want us to be first for the vaccine, but they don't want us to be first in trying to help us close this wealth gap that's going on.
Right.
I mean, because it's a big old gap between us and them. But we're so even and close now when it comes to the vaccine.
Right.
Right. We're so far apart when it comes to fixing our schools, but we're so close and knitted together when they want us to take this vaccine.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. So in the stimulus bill, they have it written that undocumented, if you're undocumented in America, what they call illegal alien, then you don't qualify for, you didn't qualify for the $1,200 early this year in March. You don't qualify for the $600 that's coming out probably sometime next year. But you qualify for a vaccine.
Oh my goodness!
You qualify for that,
boy. Wow. Well, not no money. Well, we gonna give you this test run.
Got y'all with the shots though.
Yeah, we got you with the shots. You can take as many shots as you want.
Right.
So read that.
That's heavy.
Scroll down. Go
He
ahead.
saw some crafty people, man.
Every U.S. state has been advised to consider ethnic minorities as a critical and vulnerable group in their vaccine distribution plans, according to the Centers for Disease Control guidance. As a result, half of the nation's states have outlined plans that now prioritize Black, Hispanic, and indigenous residents over white people in some way.
They said over white people. They
Right.
emphasized the over white
Right.
people. We know white folks is normally in the forefront of everything, but this time they got to take a back seat because we got to save America.
Hey,
Come on
maybe
now,
all the marching
dawg.
finally got to him.
Maybe that's it.
Right.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
According to our analysis, 25 states have committed to a focus on racial and ethnic communities as they decided which groups should be prioritized in receiving a coronavirus vaccine dose.
So 25 states committed, scroll back up. 25 states committed to a focus on racial and ethnic communities as they decided which group should be prioritized in receiving a coronavirus vaccine dose. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Go ahead.
These include New Mexico, where collaboration with Native Americans is being prioritized. California, which has committed to ensuring Black and Hispanic people have greater access to the vaccine. And Oregon, where health officials have said that ethnic minorities will have equitable access to the shot. Some states have made even more specific plans to prioritize communities of color, with 12 states specifically mentioning efforts to partner with healthcare providers in areas with large minority population to reach diverse populations, according to Kaiser Family Foundation.
All right, so scroll down. We just want to look at the map. So the blue is states giving greater preference to minority communities. The states in the red not giving greater preference to minority communities. So you see all the blue. You see 25 blue states where they're prioritizing Blacks and Hispanics. So half the country is divided.
Pretty much.
Right? All right, so go to the next article. So y'all see this particular article, they said they're emphasizing and pushing Blacks and Hispanics need to be prioritized to get the COVID vaccination. Read that.
U.S. Surgeon General urges LeBron to take COVID vaccine, lead by example.
So they want him to shut the hell up on every other issue.
Shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble with every other issue. But take the lead with the COVID vaccine.
Wow. Hey, officer, you know what that sound like? That sound like the same thing they do with our forefathers Mattathias. What they tell them, eat the defiled meat just so everybody else can do it.
Matter of fact, read that. Read that.
Second Maccabees.
Pull it and read it.
What is it? Second Maccabees?
While y'all looking for that, scroll
6 and
down.
18.
Let me know where y'all find it. Go ahead.
U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams says.
So they use the black man, a white man with black skin. Let's say that. They use Jake, the Surgeon General, to say what?
Says LeBron James can help end the pandemic.
How the hell can one man
He's a basketball
end
player.
the pandemic? Did that Edomite not tell him to shut the hell up and,
And
dribble?
yeah, that's all he good for is playing basketball.
Surgeon General, he
That's
didn't make
what
no
they-
statement about that.
Right,
All of a sudden,
right.
LeBron James can help end the pandemic.
Hey, I would have said, nah, fam, I got to focus on my handles. I got stuff to do, man.
Yeah, I told him to shut the hell up and
Right.
dribble, so I got to work on my handles.
Right.
Go ahead. Yeah, you got
Yes,
it.
sir, I got you. The
Yeah,
book
go
of
ahead.
2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was
So watch this. They understand that black people look and desire leadership. We're sheep. We always have a shepherd. For a lot of our people now, Esau is your shepherd.
Right.
The so-called white man is your shepherd. That's your lead. That's your God. That's your daddy. So when they push things like this, for them to say LeBron James can end the pandemic, that listen,
Wow.
Right.
not LeBron James can end. They ain't pushing him to end poverty
Right.
amongst the black community. They not looking for him to receive education.
Black on black.
I mean,
crime.
end the education gap in the black community.
Right.
Black on black crime. They looking for him to end the pandemic.
Bruh.
Gotcha. Read that.
2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth, and came of his own accord to the torment. Want me to keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
As it behooved them to come, that are resolute to stand out against such things, as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice, commanded by the king.
So they told him, well, just you're gonna act like it's pork.
Right.
We're gonna say it's pork in the forefront, but bring some chicken. I don't care what you bring. Bring some turkey, whatever's lawful for you.
Right.
But for the people, they're gonna see your example and they're gonna follow that lead.
Exactly.
But he understood, him and his age and his wisdom, he understood, yo, I'm not pushing my people. I'm not showing that example amongst my people. You serious? Because if I do it, they'll be emboldened to do it too.
Exactly.
So for LeBron, they're saying, well, if we get this man of that all blacks and Hispanics admire,
Right.
a man of great stature, a man of great wisdom, worldly wisdom,
Right.
a man of great wisdom. He has a school. He opened a school.
Yeah.
Right.
If he takes the shot, guess what? Everybody else is going to be emboldened to take the shot too. But we ain't that damn stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not that crazy.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is why we on the show right now. That's why we're going to show you the history behind what they're doing right now. Why they're trying to push so hard to get this vaccine in the arms of every black, Hispanic, and Native American, the children of Israel.
The children of Israel.
So-
And they using our people to push it.
Right.
Whether
Yeah.
it's the Surgeon General or our so-called athletes or our so-called stars, you know. And so they're going to use our people to try to persuade us to do their dirty work.
Come on now,
And that's the way I
dawg.
see it. They dirty work.
You know how they do the same. They do the same thing with politics. They used Lil Wayne. They used what's the chick name? Cardi B.
Cardi B.
They use the battle rappers,
Right.
Charlie Clips and DNA, the battle rappers.
What they pushing? Vote or die.
Yeah, they did a whole Joe Biden commercial. You ain't seen that?
During the
Thank
time,
God. No.
during the time of voting, they had strippers talking about go to the polls, and
Right.
they had strippers on the poll going on down talking about come to the polls or go to the polls. I'm like, oh, this is just too much.
Come
This is
on
too
now,
much,
dog.
But a lot of our people
Went to the polls.
went to the polls based on that commercial.
But yeah, exactly. They left no stone unturned
Damn.
for our people. They doing the same here. They doing the same thing.
They doing the same thing. Read on.
U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams says LeBron James can help end the pandemic, explaining Monday if the NBA superstar takes the COVID vaccine, others will follow
You
suit.
see that? That's the same history. That's the same thing we just read in our history.
Exactly.
That's the same thing. Go ahead.
LeBron James, I know you've been a big supporter of masks, Adams said on KTLA. I want to know when you're going to take the shot, not the basketball shot, but the COVID shot.
Damn. LeBron James, I know you scroll back up. I know you've been a big supporter of masks. Adam said on KTLA, I want to know when you're going to take the shot, not the basketball shot, but the COVID shot. Damn.
Hey, why don't they
Go.
ask Dirk Nowitzki or somebody like that to take the shot?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Find some Edomite. All
Right.
these,
Right.
well, it's not a lot of, but it's plenty of basketball players, plenty of Edomite stars y'all can use. But we know who they shooting for.
Right.
We know who they
Tom
going for.
Brady, the big
Right.
football player, Edomite football, they targeting us. So they want to go for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. So,
Finish him.
wow.
Go ahead. Go to the next article. Read that.
Uber to offer 10 million free or discounted rides. 10 million free or discounted rides to people seeking COVID-19 vaccination.
You know how much money they losing with 10 million free or discounted rides? Uber's not losing out on money like that.
Man.
So they either getting some sort of government subsidies
Exactly, officer. Exactly.
or they getting some sort of write-off
Right.
Man.
or something like that. Esau ain't that damn generous
That's a
to
lot of
black
money.
people.
Hey, officer. It also proved to you that all these big corporations, they all in one accord with destroying our people.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know they're not doing this for free. So
Exactly.
It's nothing for Esau to break Uber off a couple billion to say, hey, let these Negroes get the vaccine.
Tax breaks or
Yeah,
something.
tax breaks, all that,
break,
you know?
yep.
Yeah, something
Yep.
coming up out of it.
Yep.
Just get these Negroes to get shot.
Right.
Whatever we got by any means necessary.
Mhm.
That's Esau's mindset. By any means necessary.
Get them inoculated.
Scroll down.
Man.
Uber will offer 10 million free or discounted rides to people looking to receive the COVID-19 vaccination.
Hey, officer, listen to this, though. So what if somebody, you know us Negroes, you know us so-called black people, some be like, yeah, take me to the hospital, I'm about to get the shot. No, I'm not, I'm about to go to Burger King.
Go on. Right.
I ain't getting no shot, fool.
Another ride.
Book another ride. Yeah, I'm going, to the hospital. Get one of them vaccination shots. Okay, hop in. Get out. No, I'm not. Go ahead, officer. Go ahead.
The rides include transportation to and from their destination, as well as rides for their second and final dose. A date for when the
So hold up. It says the rides include transportation to and from their destination, as well as rides for their second and final dose. Esau ain't missing out on money like that.
Right.
No,
Right.
no. You ain't playing us for boo boo the damn fool. Like they finna just give away all this money
Right.
and all these rides for free.
You can't even find an Uber coupon online for
No.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
You can't find no
Right.
discount codes. You can't no.
right. Uber ain't having it.
Man.
So, with all that being said, with these just a handful of articles where they're showing and proving who they're pushing for, who are they looking to get the vaccine first and foremost. Let's pull up the next one. Let's go to the next clip. So, if y'all have not seen this, or if y'all haven't read the book Medical Apartheid: The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. So it's a thick book. It's over 500 pages, but it documents the history over centuries. It's impossible for us to go through even half of that book on this show in dealing with all of the experimentation, all of the vaccines, the medical oppression that blacks and Hispanics have had to deal with in this country. So before y'all play this, pull up the definition of apartheid, because I don't want to just glaze over that as if everybody knows what that means, because hell, I didn't know what it meant until I looked it up.
Apartheid, noun, a rigid former policy of segregating and economically and politically oppressing the non-white population.
It says segregate. It says a rigid former policy. Find me that. Frame mischief by a law. Frame mischief by a law. It says a rigid former policy of segregating and economically and politically oppressing the non-white population. Read number 2.
Number 2, any system
Stop. Any system, go ahead.
or practice that separates people according to color, ethnicity, caste, etc.
So what we're talking about, when we talk about policy, we're talking about systems and practices that are set in place to economically and politically and medically oppress the non-white population. When we say when it says non-white population, understand it ain't talking about the Chinese.
Right.
It's not talking about the Japanese. Right. It's not talking about them. It's talking about the children of Israel.
That's right.
Because it's telling you in the Republic of South Africa. And y'all saw, maybe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, Bishop played the video of that Edomite where they had that interview and they were talking about how they were pushing HIV, the HIV and AIDS disease in Africa.
Right.
So when this says in the Republic of South Africa, a rigid form of policy of segregating and economically and politically oppressing the non-white population, we're talking about economically, politically, medically, religiously oppressing the children of Israel. That's what we're talking about. Yep. Read
Yes,
that.
sir. The book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity,
Shall the throne of sin, shall the throne of Satan,
have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief
they
by a law?
they frame mischief or sin by what?
By a law.
When it says by a law, it's talking about by a system or a practice or a policy. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about you can't sell candy on the corner store. We're not talking about little stuff like that.
Right.
We talking about entire countries
Right.
that are framing sin and evil against the children of Israel.
That's right.
So give me that in Malachi, because it says any system or practice. Any system, I'm sorry, not Malachi, Micah. Micah chapter 2. It says any system or practice. Let's see if that's in the Bible. Micah chapter 2, verse 1.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity.
Woe to them that devise iniquity, that devise sin, that devise evil.
And work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice
They
it.
do what?
They practice it.
Any system or practice. When the morning is light, they practice, they being the evil, the wicked, the so-called white man. They frame mischief by a law. It says they what? When the morning is what?
They practice it.
When the morning is light, they practice it. So at midnight, they up.
Right.
Black people sleep. We passed out. We knocked out.
Right.
We got to wake up to go to captivity the next morning. You know what
Exactly.
he saw up doing?
Plotting mischief
Plotting mischief. Plotting evil against the children of Israel.
all night.
All night.
Right.
Plotting not only how to kill us and oppress us medically, how to kill us and oppress us financially, politically, economically,
Exactly.
religiously.
Right.
That's what they're doing. While you up knocked out.
Right.
So let's go back
It's
to
more.
the video. Yeah, go ahead.
When the morning is light, they practice it. Because it is in the power of their hand.
Because it is in the power of their hand. Because God gave them that power.
That's right. That's right.
Job 9:24 says the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So let's play this.
Before we are also
Actually,
talking
no.
to professionals.
This is not the next video. Hold up. Y'all say something.
Hey, officer,
No, go ahead.
officer, while he looking for that, can you get Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 24?
Ezekiel 7 and 24.
Yes, sir. Because what our people have to realize is to do these type of actions, no regular man just sits up and say, yeah, I want to vaccinate 100 million people and make them all sick. And hopefully it'll affect their kids. You got to realize what type of people we dealing with. Can you read that, officer?
Yes, sir. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7 and verse 24. Wherefore, I will bring the worst of the heathens.
Bring what kind of heathen?
I will bring the worst of the heathens.
So the Lord said these heathens we dealing with here in America, God said they the worst of the heathen on the face of the earth. Because you don't go to Japan, and Japan is not doing this to our people over there right now anyway. So God said these people are the worst of the heathen. Read on.
and they shall possess their houses.
So the Bible said they possess our houses. They can literally come to your house and say, hey, don't be surprised if they do this. They make it to where your whole house has to have like a vaccine card or something like that. They literally oppress our house. You supposed to be the man of your wife, but they can make sure that your wife gets the vaccine. Read on.
I would also make a pump of their strong to cease.
But God said he will make the pump of their strong to cease. That's going to happen eventually if we endure. That's it on that, officer.
Yes, sir.
Their pomp is going into their arrogancy, their pride. The Lord said their pride is going to cease. Because right now they think, oh, we got time. We got time. These black people, they so sleep. They worried about basketball. They worried about football.
Exactly.
Let's use LeBron.
Right.
That's how prideful they are. Let's use strippers.
Exactly.
That's how prideful they are.
That's how prideful
The Lord
they
said
are.
that's going to cease. That's going to be no more.
Right.
So play this. So I'm playing this to introduce y'all to the author. So she gives some good background on why she wrote the book, what the book is about, and then we're gonna go to the next video after that. So play that.
Be back here. It's hard to know what first piqued my interest in looking at the history of ethics as it pertained to African Americans and their treatment by the medical institutions in this country. But I know that my initial desire to be a physician and working in hospitals for over 10 years certainly sharpened that interest. I saw many things that troubled me and disturbed me, many questions I had about the interactions between individual patients and clinicians. And I actually found that clinicians were often very open about discussing with me their own trepidation about the way they felt constrained to treat patients. But it was a really interesting experience I had that I recount in Medical Apartheid when I was running a poison control center in a hospital in upstate New York. We were allowed to have extra space that was ceded to us by radiology. And I also found an old file cabinet that I knew I could use in my office. So I'm opening this file cabinet, cleaning it out, and I found all these old filed folders of patients.
So I want to make sure y'all really listen in on these next 2 minutes, all right? So she was in her office. She found a bunch of old files of patients, all right? So I want to make sure y'all listen in on that. Key in on that. Go ahead.
Opening this file cabinet, cleaning it out, and I found all these old filed folders of patients that had been forgotten. And being who I am, I read every last one of them, of course. And I was struck by the fact that these were patients who were being considered for kidney transplantation. But their files looked different, and the differences seemed to be assorted according to race. The files of the black patients were very thin, and those of the white patients were fatter. It's because the ones of the white patients had reams and reams of documentation about their social history, positive. They had positive support from family and friends about their insurance that made them able to pay for this kind of procedure, and bolstering their claim, for a new kidney, called the social profile. The social profiles of the other patients, the black ones, everyone had the word Negro stamped on it. And they were thinner, although in particular I saw one file where a gentleman who had insurance, had a loving family like the other patients, and yet the plan for this patient was not to help him find an organ, but to help him prepare for his imminent demise. And I thought, is it race that's separating these patients from a kidney that they need to live? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it certainly looked suspicious. And I had to know more. I think that triggered my interest. After that, I began looking everywhere to see whether or not black and white patients were being treated equally with the same access to life-saving technologies. And dismayingly often, I saw that they were not. I wasn't a writer then. That's the interesting thing. I was running a poison control center, but when I became a writer, I knew it would be the first book that I felt passionately about, and it was.
So watch this. So she said that the file folders that she found of white patients and black patients was totally different. The white patients there was a lot of time taken in their records and their charts and looking at the family, their social, social status, so on and so forth, their relationship with the family. But the black files were very thin, right?
Exactly.
So we're playing this to show y'all that what we're not just a bunch of angry black men on a show just talking out the side of our neck. Right. We're showing and proving through documented history the systemic oppression, medical oppression of black people, the children of Israel.
Exactly, officer. And it's not just Tuskegee, because we always thinking about the popular stuff.
Right.
Tuskegee, Henrietta Lacks, or those type of things, the popular things, you know what I mean? But this is more in depth than that. It's more to it than just those few things that they have done to us, and that's what we're trying to show you guys now.
Exactly. In the book, and we can't possibly go through half of it in the show, but in the book, it documents, gives dates and everything. There's what they say today, receipts. But for every, well, I can't even say that. For maybe 2% of the evil that has been done against the children of Israel medically.
Because, you know, Esau always cover up the most evil that they do. It's nothing for them to throw the Tuskegee experiment out there, because that was probably light work for them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, okay, we comfortable with them having this.
Right.
But this right here that we did, we can't let them know yet.
Matter of fact, she says that, I think in this one or the next video, she actually says that the reason why Tuskegee, matter of fact, I think it's right here. I think it's this one. Go ahead and play on before I say anything.
After I had the opportunity to train in medical ethics, I spent 2.5 years training in medical ethics, and one of the questions I had was that there was one study, and seemingly only one study, that was acknowledged and well known among many people, in which African Americans were mistreated, and that was a Tuskegee study. But I had already learned from my own curiosity, my own research, that there had been many, many studies, many of them, in fact, most of them, much worse than Tuskegee.
Pause. Y'all see that?
Boom, that was the bomb. What bomb? Hey.
So, to your point, there are many experiments, more than she could cover in a 500-page book.
Wow.
Many more experiments that are not even documented for mass publication. You ain't getting to them books. Them deep in the basements and the cellars of Edomite establishments.
Right. Hey, officer, I don't know if you watched Lovecraft Country when it came out, but it was a part on Lovecraft Country where they came into like the doctor's basement, and it showed some of the experiments he had done on a lot of our people. So, like, for example, one thing that they would that they used to do is they'd take the head off of a baby and put it on a grown man, and still try to keep the brain operating, just like stuff like that. So they put this stuff in movies for us to see, but they're not gonna come out and say, "Yeah, we did all this to y'all."
They, what does Cap always say? Life imitates art. Art imitates life.
Right. Yeah. If they ain't did it yet, they trying to do it.
Facts.
Play on.
Wow.
Many studies, many of them, in fact, most of them, much worse than Tuskegee. Studies in which African Americans were actively harmed, killed even. And I wondered why Tuskegee had such root in the American psyche. And I quickly realized it's because that's all people know about. Very often I would ask people about research with African Americans, clinical people, historians, people who should know. And they would only say Tuskegee. You're asking about Tuskegee, right? I'm like, no, I'm asking about everything else. I realized people did not know this history at all. And I went to international conference in Lübeck, Germany, of historians of medicine focused on medical experimentation in the 20th century. And they all said that only Tuskegee had harmed African Americans. I knew that wasn't true. So I began realizing the consequences of not understanding that there had been scores and scores of abusive medical research with African Americans over the decades. The consequences are that very often Tuskegee was dismissed as a terrible thing that happened, but it was accorded, the fears of African Americans to engage in medical research were accorded to Tuskegee. Well, they don't want to engage in medical research because they're overreacting to Tuskegee. It was called an overreaction to a single study, and I knew.
So She said, go back maybe 20 seconds. I want y'all to hear that one more time.
Tuskegee was dismissed as a terrible thing that happened, but it was accorded, the fears of African Americans to engage in medical research were accorded to Tuskegee. Well, they don't want to engage in medical research because they're overreacting to Tuskegee. It was called an overreaction to a single study, and I knew
So they said that play on.
that wasn't true. I knew that people were actually reacting to centuries of abuse, and I thought it was really important
Pause
to
there real
document
quick. So even though we don't know the full breadth and depth of the evil in terms of medical oppression, it's in our spirits. We know, yo, these people is evil as hell. I ain't anything medical or experiments and tests and all this other stuff. Yeah, I ain't with all that. I don't know about that.
She said centuries.
Yeah.
Right.
She said centuries. Go ahead, officer. Go ahead.
And you know what's crazy? She said when our people was trying to bring this information up, they said, "Oh, y'all are overreacting." Bro, you killed my daddy, my grandpa, my uncle,
Exactly.
and that affected me today. But you said I'm overreacting because I'm trying to get to the truth.
And that's
The
what
hell
they
is
pushing
this?
out. That's what they pushing out. It's like we paranoid or something.
Right.
Oh, that happened back in the days.
Right.
No. We know you. You're evil.
Right.
We just got done marching because y'all was shooting us in the
Right.
streets.
Hey, also to that point, can I do a script real quick? I'll go to Jeremiah 8:15 because you said we just got done marching in the streets, begging, yelling, no justice, no peace. And right after that, they say, okay, y'all marching in the streets asking for peace. Now it's time for y'all to get these vaccines. This Bible proves that we're the Israelites. This history, the things, 8 and 15, the things we're going through right now prove that we are the people of the book. You got that?
Yes, sir. Jeremiah chapter 8 and verse 15. We looked for peace,
So that's our people. We march in the streets and we yell, no justice, no peace. Black lives matter. Read.
but no good came.
But no good come to us when we do these things. Read.
And for a time of health,
We look for a time of health. Right now, we are dying. They say that we dying more than anybody else. So we looking for health, but read.
and behold, trouble.
We say, okay, we want to be healed, but they say, all right, we got y'all. Y'all can get these vaccines. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This Bible proves that we are the people of the book.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
That's
it.
a tough
That's a cold
anybody
precept.
got-
I gotta
where
do my
the
own
that
ideas,
come-
man. I
where
gotta
the
be
sound
Captain. I
effects?
gotta be
That's a
Captain
cold
Sakar.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, bro. Sakar. You know what I mean?
Play it one more time, man.
That's a cold
That's
precept.
a cold precept.
Hey. go, Cap. All praises,
I don't know if
Cap.
y'all doing that because it's Officer Kareem, but I'm gonna need y'all to get in the spirit. Man.
That's right. Bring it down.
That was a cold precept, brother. Don't even get his cold.
Yeah, he don't get his cold, no bomb. nothing.
Get that in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 33. Because what we're talking about is medical oppression. Is that documented in the Bible? Is medical oppression documented in the Bible?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 33.
Bring it out.
Start at verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So God said if we would not keep his commandments, he said all these curses would come upon us and overtake us, right? Let's read one of the curses that came upon the children of Israel and have clearly overtaken the children of Israel as we continue to watch on. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away.
God said we would only be oppressed. What did we read in the definition earlier? We're talking about economic. We're talking about medical, and we're talking about political, which we don't deal in politics no way. But they oppress us through politics and putting up the damn devil year over year and pushing us. Yo, y'all gotta vote. Get out, get out in the polls. Go to Magic City. We got a
Go to the
poll right there in
polls.
the middle of Magic
Yeah,
City
right,
for y'all to
right.
vote. Go ahead. So go ahead. Play the video.
Reaction to a single study, and I knew that wasn't true. I knew that people were actually reacting to centuries of abuse, and I thought it was really important to document that because nobody else had. When I went to the medical libraries in Europe and in the US, prestigious organizations like Harvard's Countway Library, you would find shelves filled with abuses toward whites and other groups, but nothing on the abuse of African Americans. Nothing in books. But when I went to the basement and looked at the medical journals from the 18th, 19th century, I saw plenty there, but it was episodic. And I thought someone needs to pull this together so that people will understand that there's an entire canon of abusive research with African Americans. So people will stop dismissing it as a myth when these were actually all too real.
Pause.
And that's what I...
Did we say that earlier?
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
you got to go into the basement. You got to go deep in order to uncover the evil that has been done against our people.
Right.
It's not in the regular library where all the regular students go in. Yeah, it'll show some some things against Esau or whatever. But for us, they wanna what is it? Put that history deep into the ground. What's the damn word I'm looking for?
Bury the history.
Bury. That's the word I don't know what the hell I was thinking. They want to bury that history. Go ahead.
You know, it would have been good if I could have said the book ended with Tuskegee, that we had learned everything that we should have learned, but we didn't at all. So what's happened is that we have many, many abuses after Tuskegee, at least as many after Tuskegee as beforehand. And there is not a sphere of American medicine that has gone untouched. Radiation experiments, experiments with children, reproductive abuse and experimentation. It's everywhere. Any sphere in which there's an interaction of African Americans with the system, you're going to find their abuse by the system. And in research settings, it was even more prevalent because in research settings, unlike therapeutic settings, there's a laissez-faire attitude often reigned. The interesting thing is that today we comfort ourselves that we have this matrix of laws that protect research subjects, and we do. That's a good thing. But laws are only as good as the people who enforce them and adhere to them. And all too often the laws are not being adhered to, and even more often we are passing laws now that actually erode informed consent, that reduce people's right to say yes or no in medical research. And when we do that, African Americans are often the most frequent victims of that. So unfortunately, although we do not engage in the most horrific physical abuses of the 18th and 19th centuries, we still do have many, many research studies that are ethically problematic and frankly abusive. So we still have not learned everything that we should have.
Hey, officer, did you catch what she just said?
She said a lot. Which part you talking about?
What she just said about the laws that were made in order to erode people's decision to say yes or no to medical research.
Yeah.
COVID-19 looks like a really big piece of medical research.
That's exactly
worldwide.
What it is. That is exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
You're 100% right.
Hey, also check at the beginning. She said they have done all type of experiments on us. The first thing she said was radiation. You know, radiation literally burns the skin.
Exactly.
You know, like the movie The Hills Have Eyes. Those people were like that because radiation. So that's a big deal. Like you can't just let that fly by.
Hey, get me that now, Isaiah chapter 29. You got something?
No, go ahead, officer.
Go to Isaiah 29 and 15. I want to touch on that part where she mentioned about the basement. Her having to go to the basement.
Basement.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us?
Guess what? The Most High is putting a spirit on his prophets to bring out the evil that has been done against his children.
That's right.
That's what the Lord is doing. You're not going to be, there's certain things that, are not going to be revealed until Christ returns. Right. And then the Most High is going to give us those spiritual eyes to be able to see, Becky Johnson is the damn devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
She was smiling in your face. She had the blue eyes and the white teeth.
Right.
Meanwhile, in the spirit, in the 1800s, she was the one that was bashing your child's brains in.
Right.
She was the nurse to the surgeon that took your body and was amputating your arms and your legs.
That's right.
Without any type of
anesthesia.
Exactly. She was the nurse to that.
Right.
Wow. That's heavy.
And if she wasn't the nurse, you better believe she told her kids, little Susie, I did this, and I want you to grow up in my footsteps and become a doctor.
Oh, you did it right. Somebody had some.
Man, go to Daniel 9:11. I was going to bring that Ecclesiastes out saying there's nothing new under the sun, but I'm going to go to that Daniel 9:11. We're going to read down to verse 12.
Sir, the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him, and he have confirmed his words.
He had confirmed his word, read.
Which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil.
This is a great evil they've been doing to our people. A great evil, not just evil, a great evil.
Right.
The things they're doing to us and still continue to do to us. Read.
Right. For under the whole heaven.
Under the whole heavens. We don't care about what went on and what's that, the 6 million in the Holocaust.
Right.
Man, come on, this is nothing. They still damaging us, our people.
Right.
They still trying to get rid of us crafty.
Right.
Read on.
For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
To the black people, to the Hispanic, to the Native Americans, under the whole heaven, ain't nothing been done like they doing to us now or have done to us in the past.
Right. Turkey back on that. Can you get Jeremiah 30 and verse 11? What y'all bringing out is heavy. But and it's heavy because a lot of our people, they really scared right now. Like the Bible says, Esau is a real terrorist. The definition of a terrorist is somebody that can put fear in you or somebody that causes terror. So read that, officer.
Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 11. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee.
So to understand, brothers, LeBron James, him getting the vaccine is not going to save our people. Understand that, sisters. Nobody on this earth, especially Esau, even a black doctor that they say was the leader of making the vaccine, she can't save us. That's not her goal.
Exactly.
Read on.
Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee.
So understand, the Lord might use COVID-19 to kill off 80% of Esau. But God said he's not going to let this disease take us out as a people. Read on.
But I will correct thee in measure.
But guess what? God said this disease is hitting our community so we can be corrected.
That's right.
So we can seek the Lord and say, damn, I need to repent.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Read on this a little bit more.
And will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
Read. So God said, even though we going through these things, guess what? It's a part of our punishment. Read on.
For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable.
So God said, nobody can cure you of COVID-19 unless I say I want to do it.
Bring it
and
out.
we know Psalms 107 that says thy word is the law. Read.
And thy wound is grievous.
Read.
There is none to plead thy cause.
That's the key part right there. God said there's none that's going to plead y'all cause. LeBron James not going to plead our cause. Cardi B talking about the vaccine. She not going to plead our cause. Joe Biden is not going to plead our cause. Camilla Harris not going to plead our cause. Read on.
That thou mayest be bound up, that thou hast no healing medicines.
So God said there's no healing medicines on this earth that can heal us of anything we're going to go to unless he wanted to happen.
That's a cold precept.
Let me get Job 5 and 12.
And then I want to go back to Jeremiah and finish that. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, give me Job 5 and 12. Bring that out. Yeah, Jeremiah was fired up. It had me fired up too. I got to go to this one.
Praise the book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands could not perform their enterprise.
So they're not going to be able to get away with all this. We here stopping it right now. That's all I wanted. Real short and sweet.
For those of our people that repent and keep the commandments and the faith of his son, Jesus Christ, guess what? You don't have to fear no evil thing, like it says in Ecclesiastes 8.
Right.
There's no reason to fear.
That's right.
You keep the commandments and the faith of his son, Jesus Christ. That's good. Guess what? On the back end of that, there's eternal life.
Right.
On the other side of affliction and keeping God's commandments is eternal life.
That's right.
So go back to Jeremiah 30, jump down to verse 16.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured.
God said, all of these nations, first and foremost on God's hit list is Esau. He said, therefore, all they that devour thee shall what?
Shall be devoured.
Shall be devoured. How do they devour us? Do they devour us by, like, for example, today, are they rounding us up, putting us all in a friggin' Walmart and beating us? No, they're not doing that. They devour us by practices, systems, and policies. That's how they devour us.
Bring it out.
And all thine adversaries.
All your adversaries. Guess what, black people? You got enemies.
Right.
Becky ain't your friend.
Right.
Young Chu Hao ain't your friend.
Right.
Go ahead.
Every one of them.
Every last one of these heathens, go ahead.
Shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil.
He said these nations are going to go into captivity.
That's right.
Those that spoil you will be a spoil. Go ahead.
And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
Guess what? Black people are being preyed on right now.
Bring it out.
What we've been going through for the last hour, you're seeing Esau preying on our people.
Literally.
In the literal sense.
Right.
We showing y'all article after article. They putting all these little gifts in front of you, trying to persuade you and push you and prod you to join a medical experiment.
Right.
The hell is this?
That's what they doing. Right. Read the last verse, verse 17.
For I will restore health unto thee.
God said he will restore health unto us.
That's right.
Let's say, brothers and sisters, you know, for their job, their position, whatever the case is, that they end up taking the vax. Okay. That's between you and the Lord, right? God said, even within that, he said, I will restore health unto thee. So don't worry about, well, damn, am I going to lose my life tomorrow if I take the vax? Don't worry about that. You keep the commandments of Christ.
That's right.
And God said he will restore health unto thee. Go ahead.
And I will heal thee of thy wounds.
God said he will heal you of your wounds. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord. Because they called thee an outcast.
God said, because these heathens call you an outcast, they call you black, they call you African American, they call you an undesirable. Go ahead.
Saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
Uh-huh.
Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tent, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof.
God said he was going to put us back in our land, and guess what? All these other nations would serve us.
That's right.
We're going to be walking in perfect health.
Right.
That's right.
We're going to have our spiritual powers. Like that video.
Right.
Lord's where we get to it. I ain't going to spoil it. Go ahead. Go back to the video.
All praises. All praise to the Most High for his mercy.
Was that the last? Okay, so go to the next one. So now we can go to democracy now. So 3 months ago, this sister actually did an interview. I forget her name off the top of my head that fast. But Sister Harriet Washington. Nope, go down. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Nope, down, right there. So let's go to the book. All right, so these are excerpts from her book, Medical Apartheid, all right? This is part 3, Race, Technology, and Medicine. I don't have a page number for this one, but part 3, Race, Technology, and Medicine for those of y'all that want to purchase it later and Google it. Go ahead. So read the part in that first paragraph.
A dramatically misunderstood set of disease etiologies.
Okay, well, let me preface this by saying it's going to be a couple of big words in this. So just get your phone ready, have Google queued up so y'all can look up some of these words, all right? Go ahead.
A dramatically misunderstood set of disease etiologies led to the adoption of heroic remedies calculated to kill or cure.
Calculated to kill or cure. Go ahead. So in every case, they're not looking to cure nobody. Go ahead.
Through the 18th century, Western medicine was not only misinformed, but dangerously so. Caustic medicines of the period often contain metabolic poisons such as arsenic and calomel, a compound of mercury and chlorine that was used as a purgative.
Wow.
Yeah, used as a purgative. Guess what? Nothing changed. They still using mercury in vaccines to this day.
Right.
In 2020. That ain't nothing. We're not talking about just in the 1800s. We're not just talking about a century ago. We talking about today.
Right.
Go ahead.
Many other remedies contain highly toxic substances such as mercury and addictive Schedule II narcotics, including the opiates, laudanum, opium, and morphine, as well as cocaine derivatives. These medicines addicted, sickened, or killed outright. They also could trigger chemical pneumonitis or progressive lung injury if inhaled during a bout of iatrogenic or physician-triggered vomiting. No studies seem to have been done on this point, but such lung injuries may have helped to account for slaves' higher death rate from respiratory disease.
So who were they using as experiments for their various vaccines, their various medical treatments? They were using slaves.
And still using the slaves.
And still using them. They were not using Irish
call that indentured
servants. Right. They wasn't, no. They were using slaves. Go ahead, read the next paragraph.
Indeed, vomiting was an everyday event because the common denominator of medical
hold on. Induced
vomiting was an everyday event because the common denominator of medical techniques in this period was the violent release of bodily fluids. Copious bleeding, blistering, and the induction of violent diarrhea were standard therapies.
It was standard therapies. Many of our people suffered from diarrhea. They suffered from bleeding, blistering, so on and so forth. And guess what? They were still being sent out into the fields to work.
Yeah, so that man said violent diarrhea.
Yes.
I can't even picture violent diarrhea in my head.
I don't want to. Exactly. I don't even want to. Go ahead.
Harsh laxatives or draughts, such as calomel or jalap, produce copious diarrhea, which leached nutrients, water, and electrolytes from the body. They also invited painful bed sores, which were open to infection unchallenged by antibiotics. These crude therapies were not only unpleasant, but debilitating to ill persons and even to the strong and healthy. Arsenic, for example, produced not only the intended vomiting and diarrhea, but also a wide range of other problems, including fainting, heart disease, disorders of the nervous system, gangrene, and cancers. Mercury's very serious effects included injury to the nervous system, profound mental deficits, hair and tooth loss, kidney and heart disease, lung injury, and respiratory distress. Mercury crossed the placental barrier and concentrated in breast milk, contributing to the high black infant death and birth defect rates.
See that? So they understood that not only would they get to the adults, but they would get to the children as well with their various medical practices. Get that in Deuteronomy 28. Get that in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 49.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flying.
That's talking about America, Esau, the so-called white man. Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
So they didn't care if you was 8 or 80 or 8 months.
Right.
The medical practices that they used here in America affected not only the adults. It's not like they were looking for one age group. They wasn't looking for that. It says that the mercury crossed the placental barrier and concentrated in breast milk, contributing to the high black infant death and birth defect rates. There's nothing new under the sun. It's the same practices today. Go ahead. Go to the next page.
Hey, obviously you said something heavy. You said it's the same practices today, and that's 100% true. Because as soon as the baby come out the womb, they try to give them vitamin K and then like 3 other shots. You get what I'm saying? And if you tell them, no, I don't want my kids to have a shot, they'll put up an argument with you like,
Hell yeah.
like you some random dude or something.
That's what they're doing now, putting up an
Right.
argument. Go ahead, officer.
And here's the thing with that. When we talk about policies and systems and practices, so initially they'll put up the fight to vax the kids, right? You say no. Okay, boom, whatever. Y'all leave. 3 months later, you go and look for a pediatrician
Oh, facts. Or a daycare.
or a daycare.
Yep.
That was the next
Facts.
one.
Yep.
Go and look for let's say mama got what is it, parental leave or whatever. I forget what it's called. Medical leave. Go and look for a pediatrician 3 months later.
Yep.
You are a needle in a haystack looking for a pediatrician
Facts.
that does not push vaccines, that will not see your child
Right.
if they're not vaccinated. Move forward, 6 months to a year. Mama got to go back to work. Now they got to go to daycare. You are hard pressed to find a daycare that accepts children that do not have vaccinations.
Right. And that's proof that they double tongue because they'll tell you, oh, you have the right to refuse any vaccination or any medicine. But in a lot of cases, what they'll do is if you say, no, I don't want my kid to get vaccinated, they'll call CPS on you. They'll
The hell
open
is
a whole
this?
case.
Yep. My kids ain't vaccinated. None of my kids are vaccinated. So thank the Lord. And all praise to the Most High that he's been merciful. And guess what? We've been able to find daycares. We've been able to find pediatricians. That's not everybody's case, but all praise to the Most High for a nation, for a body, for you individualites, because guess what? I can go to my brother who I knows don't deal with vaccinations like that and say, yo, who you go to for daycare? Who does your kid go to for as far as a doctor for for a pediatrician?
Because I was for sure gonna ask you after the show because my kids ain't vaccinated.
Hey, go to Zephaniah 2:1 real quick. Because this the whole point with the Most High. That's what he wants us to do. In situations like this, it's supposed to cause us to come together as a nation.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Of course, you know where the nation not desire. You can tell the way they moving now. Verse 2, officer, real quick.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day passes the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Because the Most High is getting angry and angry every time he see the way these folks are treating us. He gonna take it out. He gonna make sure that the people that don't come to him after all this that's been done don't come to him. You're gonna be punished first. He's doing this in our afflictions. We supposed to be seeking him.
Right.
Yep.
And in our afflictions, we should seek him early. So we got to come on out of that and gather ourselves together so these brothers have somewhere to take their kids.
Right.
If they ain't vaccinated.
Damn.
That's it.
Now, so a sister, I'm looking at the YouTube comments. I ain't no doctor. I'm just reading the comment. Took me a while to understand chicken pox is a strand of herpes. The hell? And if you had chicken pox, it comes back later in life as shingles. Oh, snap. I ain't had no chicken pox.
Hey, me either.
Thank God.
I ain't had no herpes either.
Right.
I don't know, sis.
Praises to the Most High.
So
Might
maybe
need
that
to-
mean you had chicken pox.
Right.
I don't know. I had the measles. I had the measles.
Hey, you might want to follow up on this, sis. Though. Brother Mike just told you, hey, these ain't herpes, these chicken pox.
Oh, we ain't gonna go there. Let's
Right.
go. We can know.
Oh God. Another brother said, Yalom said, they don't want your kids around unvaccinated, in quotes, unvaccinated children. But if they got it, meaning the vaccine, then why they worried? Exactly.
Right. Thanks.
If your kid got the vaccine
Right.
that everybody been pushing,
Right.
what the hell you worry about my little kid that ain't got no vaccines
Like
for?
the flu shot.
Like the flu shot.
Right.
You shouldn't have to worry about no flu.
Right.
Yeah, you got yours.
You got yours.
Hey,
you good.
And as a matter of fact, if that's the same case with the COVID, we'll just let all them get it, and they ain't got to worry about us giving
You
it
ain't
to
got to
them.
worry about it.
I wonder how they do in the other communities, man, because you never hear about the Asian community or the Jewish community. You know what I mean? What's going on? The Arabic community. They not pushing them like they pushing us.
They the ones giving the free Uber rides.
Oh, that's what that is. That's what that is.
Right.
You know why you don't hear about it in those communities?
What's that?
Because our people listen to the media.
Ah,
They're
there you
selling
go.
it to us.
There you go. That's
the
it. That's
secret
it.
plots and popular persuasion.
Instead of listening to our fathers and our counselors
Mhm.
and our heritage, we listen to the media.
You're right.
Hey, that's a good point, Officer made. Can somebody get John 10 and 12? Because he said instead of listening to our fathers and our counselors, we listen to the media. And that's another good point about being in the congregation. Because for us in this truth, we have people that can guide us in the right directions. We have doctors and we have men of understanding that know the spirit of our enemies. You know what I'm saying?
John chapter 10 and verse 12. But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd.
So the people that they put in front of us, like LeBron James, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, these are not our shepherds. Christ is supposed to be our shepherds. The leaders that Christ set up, these are our shepherds. You get what I'm saying? Read.
Whose own the sheep are not.
And we don't belong to these men. We don't.
Seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth.
So these people that are set up by America society, they don't care about our people.
Exactly.
So when they see these troubles come, they flee. You get what I'm saying? They don't care.
Because we are the hirelings. The hirelings mean the workers, the slaves. That's what that means. And that's who we are in this society. The burden bearers. Go ahead, officer.
All right, so go ahead. Wait, this page 30. Didn't we just read? What page we just read?
28.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
The records revealed that slaves were both medically neglected and abused because they were powerless and legally invisible. The courts were almost completely uninterested in the safety and health rights of the enslaved.
So that's what the sister was mentioning in the interview. Even though they have, even for us today, yes, there are certain policies and laws set in place for to protect the health and the rights of people. But guess what? It's only as good as those that actually uphold those laws and those policies.
Right.
So guess what? Those laws and those policies and those procedures and those systems, they are selective with how they apply those laws, those systems, those practices, and who they apply those laws, systems, and practices to. So, for example, even when you're dealing with the police system, the legal system, white people, they understand how to de-escalate a situation because they do it seemingly with perfection amongst other Edomites.
Right.
They can damn near get hit by a car.
Right.
Literally. They can damn near get hit by a car. They can damn near get hit by a bus.
Right.
And will not pull the trigger at all. Won't even think about it.
Right. They follow all their training procedures.
Every last one of them. They'll go back to the car and look up the trainer. Then how do I de-escalate this situation so I don't kill this white man?
Right.
So they got that down to a science. But for us, the same laws and the same systems, the same practices on how to de-escalate, they're clueless when it comes to blacks and Hispanics. They're absolutely clueless. Damn. So to say, likewise with the medical industry, it says the records reveal that slaves were both medically neglected and abused because they were powerless and legally invisible.
Yeah, let me read this. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me read this right here. This is from a doctor, Dr. Clark, back in during the time of the Tuskegee experiment. Right. Here's what he said. He says, these Negroes are ignorant and easily influenced by things that would be of minor significance in a more intelligent group. And that's how they move on us. Right. To this day, they just say we ignorant because we're not going to get lawyers and fight this thing.
Right.
They'll put money in our face, dangle gifts in our face, like a $600 stimulus or $1,500 stimulus. Or they'll do any type of thing, or just get LeBron James or Oprah Winfrey or Steve Harvey. That's how they playing us. That's how they say we so ignorant. All we got to do, hey, LeBron, if you just take the shot, take the shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? You take the shot, we take the shot. You know, we all win. And that's how ignorant. That's how they play on our intelligence. Like we just ignorant Negroes, just like they had our brothers and sisters back in Tuskegee.
Right.
That's it.
The hell is this?
Matter of fact, since you already brought that up, this is a good time. Go to the first Democracy Now! Video.
Bring
Go
it
to
out.
maybe that third or fourth time stamp. I'm gonna show y'all how they think about what they think about black people. Go to that. Yeah, go to 250. Yeah, go to that one.
Hey, officer, you know when he said when the brother said that our people are ignorant, I just looked up the word ignorant. It says lacking knowledge or awareness in general. Uneducated, unsophisticated, unknowledgeable, untaught, unschooled, untutored. Meaning we haven't listened to those who have the wisdom. The scriptures tell us where we're supposed to get the knowledge from our priests.
That's right.
The Bible tells us where we're supposed to get our counsel from the men in the gates.
That's right.
That's why we have leadership set up, so that when we have these issues, we'll know who to ask, and we can go into the scriptures and find out the information.
That way we'll be not ignorant to anything.
Exactly.
All praise
We'll
to the
know
Most
how to
High.
walk in the path.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so go to. I don't even think y'all got the right video up. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's that one, and then go to the timestamp. Oh, here it is. Go to the video that shows. Hold up. Y'all say something else.
Yeah, that's what you that the definition you googled of ignorant. That sound like the exact same definition of another word that I know. It start with an N, and end with an A, but I ain't gonna say the rest of it.
Right.
That's like the exact same definition.
You mean
Exactly,
niggard?
Exactly. Bring out Nehemiah 9:37. Judah Remnant want to bring this out. Bring it out, officer. Break it on down.
You said Nehemiah. Oh yeah.
Nehemiah 9:37.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 9 and verse 37. And it yieldeth much increase unto the kings whom thou hast set over us, because of our sins.
Because of our sins. That's the reason why we over here to this day.
Right.
So our people got to learn that and repent. Read.
Right. Also, they have dominion over our bodies.
Because listen, if they tell us that we have to take that vaccination, guess what?
You got to do it.
You got to do it. You have to do it. Especially if you're in these type of jobs like the military or the medical community.
Right.
Like I remember back in the day, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, they had the anthrax vaccination, right?
Sheesh.
And they had the military guys take shots, right?
Right.
Now the guys in the military years later is getting cancer,
Right.
getting sick, and now they trying to sue the government
Right.
after these vaccinations. So we never know if it's a long-term effect or a short-term effect.
Hey, you know, another thing with these vaccinations too is if you watch a lot of videos, it tell you like the side effects. Like it tell you like you been saying videos of people they face get paralyzed and all this stuff. You like, bruh, I was just coughing for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what was that they did back? What was that? Strong diarrhea? What was that?
oh yeah, violent diarrhea.
Violent diarrhea.
Hey, go to the one that
He
says
needs
COVID
some
vaccine. The
milk.
one that has all the timestamps. It's got like four timestamps. COVID vaccine trial, seek Black, Latinx. And then you're going to go to that first timestamp.
Did you finish that, officer? That was it. That was it on that pretty much.
It was a little bit more.
Go ahead, finish while we get this.
Also, they have dominion over our bodies
They have control over us, read.
and over our cattle
Mm-hmm.
at their pleasure,
At their pleasure.
and we are in great distress.
Man, stressing.
Facts.
I don't want to take no vaccination shot.
That's a
Hey, but listen though,
cold
officer, I tell
precept.
y'all this. Officer, I tell y'all this. I want to travel with Bishop then whenever with captains then whenever we get a chance. You know what I mean? I hate taking shots and taking pills, but if that's what it takes for me to get over there and just stand on post or whatever, do what I got to do, hold a sign up, whatever.
Right.
I take that risk because that's what our leadership
Oh,
does.
facts.
They put their life on the line. That's a
Facts.
great example. So with that, I'll do it for that.
Right.
That's the type of example that we want to see and that we want to set and that we're going to follow.
Right.
That's the type of example. Not because we're scared or whatever the case is.
Right.
We scared to get COVID or we scared to die from COVID like they pushing because we want to go out and teach the gospel.
Right.
That's the example we want to set. So play this first timestamp just to go back to so we get the thought back. Going back to what you just mentioned and what you just read about the plots and the popular persuasions and how black people, or at least they push the ignorance of black people through media. So play that.
Exactly.
This comes as Trump's push to release a vaccine before the November election, called Operation Warp Speed, could be slowed by a lack of participation in vaccine trials by African American, Indigenous, and Latinx people, many of whom mistrust the healthcare system, even as the coronavirus disproportionately impacts these same communities. A National Institutes Health report attributed part of this mistrust to, quote, the historical legacy of mistreatment at the hands of the medical profession. The most notorious abuse of African Americans at the hands of the medical establishment was the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. In 1932, the U.S. Public Health Service recruited 400 African American men with syphilis, studying the disease's progression when purposefully left untreated. The subjects were given useless placebos and tracked over decades as their symptoms worsened, even though penicillin was identified as a reliable treatment in 1945. Syphilis can disfigure, cause dementia, blindness, extreme chronic pain, and death. Repeated concerns with the unethical study were ignored until a whistleblower's account of the experiment to the press in 1972 shut it down. Well, on Tuesday, the NIH attempted to overcome the legacy and helped launch a series of TV commercials on the BET network, the Oprah Winfrey Network, Telemundo, and Univision.
Pause real quick.
Bruh.
So go back about 10 seconds. And turn the speaker back up here. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't barely hear. So go back up about 10 yeah, probably right here. I want y'all to hear the different channels, the different stations that pushed this particular commercial, all right? And then they're gonna show the commercial. Go ahead.
Tuesday, the NIH attempted to overcome the legacy and helped launch a series of TV commercials on the BET network, the Oprah Winfrey Network, Telemundo, and Univision, like this ad, which features a series of Black people.
We know that someone, somewhere, is full of hope and strength and wants to take action. And will take a step forward to hug her grandkids. Walking the walk and rolling up their sleeves to go back to normal sooner. Volunteer to find the COVID-19 vaccine.
We're joined now by Howard.
Y'all see how y'all see what they use. The mouth of the beast is used to push the volunteering for COVID-19 vaccine.
Hey, officer, notice the channels he said that they put it on. BET, Oprah Winfrey Network,
Telemundo.
and Telemundo.
Yep.
Telemundo. Oh,
that's what they put. They didn't put it on what's some Edomite channels? I don't even know. They didn't push it on
Oxygen. I don't know if that's
Oxygen. I don't even know.
Right. I don't know.
They didn't push it on nothing else. They pushed it on channels that they know blacks and Hispanics watch.
Paid programming. I don't know if Esau watched that.
But
yeah, that's when they be trying to sell you the little stuff late at night when everything else go on.
Yeah,
man, I'm just saying they actually named the Israelites. They said the Black, Native Americans, and the Latinos,
right? Yep.
Or Latinx or whatever they call them now. So they named it the 12 tribes of Israel. That's who they targeted. It's just so obvious now that we are the people of the book. At this point, it should be no doubt in anybody's mind that we are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of.
Hey, officer, I got a script for you too, officer, if you want to bring it out.
Yeah,
because they said that with a lot of these expressions, you keep hearing the word whistleblower.
Mm-hmm.
So Psalms chapter 64 and verse 8.
Oh, yeah, that's Officer Lemuel right there. Let him bring that out. Go ahead, read.
So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
So the Lord said their tongue, their media is going to fall upon them. They're going to tell them themselves. The Lord is using the children of Israel to bring out the hypocrisies of the devil that the Bible speaks of, Esau, the so-called white man.
That's right.
Because they have this stuff documented. All these basements.
Exactly.
Right.
That's just one basement.
Right.
That's just one. That's
right.
yeah, exactly. Right. That's just one. The Lord used this sister to publish this information, 500 pages worth of evil that's been done against us.
Right.
And the Lord said, that's going to be used against y'all. Y'all can tell on yourself.
Right.
And he going to use us to do it. We got to get through this. All right, go back to the book. I don't think we're going to get through the videos. That's all right.
Okay, it says the practice of hiring slaves out further endangered enslaved workers by removing much of an employer's incentive to keep the slave healthy and safe. Some humane plantation owners were careful to choose less risky worker venues, but a great danger of slave death or disability was inherent in some forms of mining, tobacco production, rice farming, and most plantation work. In these settings, the slave's possible death became part of his owner's commercial calculations.
So the owners understood, this part didn't go into the medical, and we can go to the next one, but the owners understood that there was a level of risk in whatever form of slavery that black people had to and whatever form of work that we had to do, that they had us doing.
Sugar cane, cotton
rice,
picking.
right.
Yeah.
They had Northern Kingdom, they had them pearl diving, right? So go to the next page. Actually, hold up. No. Stay on that page. Stay on the page. Blow it up a little bit. Slave. No, go ahead. Read what's in the. Yeah.
Owners also restricted access to medical care by routinely accusing sick blacks of malingering.
It says owners also restricted access to medical care by routinely accusing sick blacks of malingering. So let's look up malinger. Don't look up malingering, look up malinger.
Let's see what that word means. We got an idea of what it means.
This is the definition of malinger. Exaggerate or feign
Here,
illness.
read it right here so they can see. So it's on the video. Go ahead.
Malinger, a person who malingers.
What? Malingerer. What the hell? I said malinger.
Just
not
ER.
malingerer.
We got an idea of what it means.
Malinger, exaggerate or feign illness in order.
So they thought that they were exaggerating or feigning, which means to fake illness. Go ahead.
In order to escape duty or work.
In order to escape duty or work. So when we were dealing with a violent diarrhea, they thought that we were malingering. They thought that we were exaggerating or faking illness in order to escape duty or work. Click that down arrow so we can see this similar.
Sham, shirk.
Go back to that last. Just click the back. Yeah. Okay. Read those.
Slacker, idler, layabout.
So they thought we was lazy as hell.
Just putting on.
They thought we was putting on. We sick as hell on the verge of death, and they thought that we were faking just to escape work. So go back to the book.
Here's the whole deal. The thing was, officer, they didn't want to pay our doctor bill.
Right.
That's the reason why they got us off the plantation in the first place. Because they got tired of taking care. They found the better way to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Had them buy their own clothes, have them buy their own food,
Right.
had them get their own doctor, because they don't be doing nothing but putting on anyway. They didn't ever want to take, you know what I mean? They just wanted to, man, it's awful, bro. It's just awful. When I think about it, man, I just get upset.
Yeah, it's evil as hell. Jump up, go up to the, don't go all the way to the top. Just go to a couple of sentences above this. Scroll up a little bit. Read where it says, start where it says historian.
Historian Richard Shyrock observed in 1936, of all critics, the Southern physician was perhaps in the best position to report on the physical and moral treatment of the slaves, when he stated, as he sometimes did, that Negroes were overworked and underfed. He can hardly be suspected of anti-slavery bias, since he was the friend of the planter who employed him.
He said, Negroes are overworked and underfed. The reason why he could say this with such authority is because he was a friend to the devil. It says he stated in the best position to report on the physical and moral treatment of the slaves, when he stated as he sometimes did. Go ahead.
When he stated, as he sometimes did, that the Negroes were overworked and underfed. He can hardly be suspected of anti-slavery bias since he was the friend of the planter who employed him.
So you can't say he's anti-slavery because he was a damn friend to the devil.
Right.
I guarantee you he wasn't pleading the cause of black people to free us, just like you think Abraham Lincoln did.
Right. Bring it out.
And Bishop already proved that that's a damn lie.
Right.
Read on.
As a matter of fact, he usually approved of the institution.
As a matter of fact, it ain't no damn usually. All the time.
It's yay or nay.
It's either yay or nay.
Right.
You approved of the institution of slavery. Go ahead.
Planters' own record and slave narratives corroborate physicians' complaints that the planters provided professional medical care only when they deemed it necessary to save the slave's life.
Go back, read it again, planters.
Planters' own records and slave narratives corroborate physicians' complaints that the planters provided professional medical care only when they deemed it necessary to save the slave's life, often too late.
So they almost never petitioned to save a slave's life. Why? Because it was too expensive.
Right.
They had to pay the physicians at that time.
Right.
There wasn't no free medical care. Right. There wasn't no Obamacare at that time.
Right. And also, I don't want people to get it twisted. The only reason that they cared about saving a life is because that was their property. And it was money. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So go to the next page.
We don't get history like this anywhere else.
Right.
We don't get this nowhere else.
Bring it out.
That's why I thank the Most High for you brothers, man, and all the programs that IUIC have. Man, right. Bishop, man, all praise to the Most High, man. IUIC is doing that work. That's right. Doing that work.
All praise
it's
to
good
the Most
work
High.
right here. Because I know some people some new people that's just not hearing this, and they like, wow.
Right.
My whole life I haven't heard this type of stuff. I haven't heard the Bible come out like this.
Right.
I don't even know where to find this type of information. Medical apartheid. You mean to tell me they've been doing more to us than the Tuskegee Institute? Yep. Oh, yeah, they've been doing a lot to us. Go ahead, officer.
Read this last paragraph.
Allegedly, inferior cognition was only the tip of the iceberg.
Inferior mental capacity, meaning they thought we were dumb. Go ahead.
In 1854, several years after Cartwright published Report on the Diseases and Physical Peculiarities of the Negro Race.
Whew. You all right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And 5 years before Darwin published On the Origin of Species.
So he said, report on the diseases and physical peculiarities of the Negro race. Go ahead.
And 5 years before Darwin published On the Origin of Species, Mobile, Alabama physician Josiah Nott, MD, and George R. Glidden produced an equally popular screed entitled Types of Mankind. In it, they claimed that blacks' physical and mental differences signaled their polygenic origins and proved black inferiority.
So they said Esau's the devil. They claimed, these doctors claimed that blacks' physical and mental differences signaled their polygenic. Y'all got to look up polygenic. Just pull it up on the side and then pull it over so I can keep reading this. Their polygenic origins improved black inferiority. God did not say we were inferior in any way, shape, or form. Only when we sin against him are we inferior. But God said from the beginning, get that, Deuteronomy 7.
Bring it out.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. Bring it out! But thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
To be a special people, to be a peculiar people. Come on.
Unto himself.
Unto himself.
Above all people.
God said we're above all people. We're not inferior or below all people.
Right.
God said we're above all people. Come on.
That's right.
That are upon the face of the earth.
New Testament, first 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9.
Bring it out.
Let's see if anything changed in the New Testament.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people.
God said we're peculiar people. Did they not just say in this blacks' physical and mental differences? Say, oh, no. Let me above that. Equally, where did I just read peculiarity? The word he couldn't say. Oh, right above that. Report on the diseases and physical peculiarities of the Negro race.
Oh, yeah.
Are we not reading in the Bible that there's a peculiar people?
Right.
Do y'all think anything changed from the old to the new? Read on. It said in holy nation. Go ahead.
But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people.
A peculiar people. What do we read that? What peculiar people is he talking about? Go to Deuteronomy. You know what I want? Deuteronomy chapter 26. And we're going to read verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 15. Look down from thy holy habitation, from heaven, and bless thy people Israel.
And bless who?
Thy people Israel.
And bless thy people Israel. Go ahead.
And the land which thou hast given us, as thou swearest unto our fathers, a land that floweth with milk and honey.
Jump down to verse 18.
Verse 18. And the Lord have avouched thee this day.
Woo. Y'all struggling today.
I got you to read that again.
Yeah, please do.
All right.
And the Lord have avouched thee this day.
Meaning he's confirmed this day
to be his peculiar people.
God said he's confirmed. Right. Avouch means to confirm that the children of Israel are a peculiar people.
That's right.
So guess what? They're 100% right. Right. We are peculiar people.
Right.
Why? Because we're above all the other nations on the face of the planet.
That's right.
Because God has given us his laws.
That's right.
His commandments.
Right.
He's given us a land flowing with milk and honey.
Right.
Our sins have put us in the position of what we're reading right now.
Right.
Medical apartheid, medical oppression.
Right.
Our sins did that.
Right.
But he sent his prophets in these last days in order to bring back to your remembrance so that you can bethink yourself about who you are in these last days.
Right.
And so that we can use books like Medical Apartheid to show and prove that the Bible is a true book.
Right.
That's right.
So go back here. So read on. Oh, did y'all look up the definition? All right. I told y'all with some big words. Polygenic.
Polygenic. Of, relating to, medicated by.
No, they don't say medicated.
Meditated by.
No. Mediated.
I'm sorry. Of, relating to, mediated by, or constituting polygenes, involving two or more non-allelic genes, collectively in determining inherited characteristics.
So it's going in the DNA, genes. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what that definition means, but I know it's going in the genes, all right? Mm-hmm. So it says involving two or more non-allelic genes collectively in determining inherited characteristics. If we got somebody in the medical field on YouTube, if y'all could type it in what that means, I appreciate you. But I know it's talking about genetics, right? Polygenic genetics, all right?
The hell is this?
Yeah, you click that, see what it say. It say the same thing. Quality of characteristics of your genes, all right? So go back to the page. Go back to the book. Start from in it.
In it, they claim that blacks' physical and mental differences signaled their polygenic origins and proved black inferiority. For example, Knott theorized that the distinctive knee joint and long heel of the black man proved he had been created as a submissive knee bender, a servant to whites.
Damn. Wow. They said that they could prove through our genes that we're servants. We were born to serve. We were born to be slaves. That's what they say.
Boy, if you not that specific knee joint and long heel gave us the ability to run faster or jump higher or hunt better. No, never that.
A leg up.
Or bending that knee to put my foot somewhere to kick something. You know what I mean? That's what that knee really was. That's to bend that knee, that strengthen that knee. It's really to kick something. You know, think about it, Esau. Wait till Christ comes back. Y'all gonna find out how powerful that knee gonna get.
Damn.
We gonna have superpowers.
God level powers.
That's right.
That's what we're gonna have. God level powers.
Right.
And we're gonna see that. We're gonna see a.
We the guys of the
funny
earth
glimpse
right
of
now.
that.
Right.
We the guys of the earth. We just don't have our strength. That's why we got to turn back to our power to the Most High.
That's why the scripture says we die like men.
That's right.
Hey, officer, it said that we was made to be servants. I'm gonna read the scripture so that that's the opposite.
Bring it out.
Genesis 25 and 23. It says, and the Lord said unto her, it's talking about Jacob and Esau, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
That's right.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
That's right. Because there's nowhere in the world, officer, that he would have been able to endure all this hardship that we endure now.
Bruh.
Come on, they would have been out of here.
Hey, Esau get fired and they jump off the damn roof, man.
Exactly.
For real.
Exactly. The sister been saying when she went to the basement, she found out they've been doing this type of thing for centuries and centuries.
Right.
Wow, they still doing it.
She got studies from the 18 and 1900s, going back to the 1800s, man.
But we still here and we still striving.
Right.
And finna make it out this thing. We finna make it out of here. All we have to do is repent. We gonna make it home. This is not our rest. And the Most High, Christ said, if we go to Luke 168 real quick. So I know Officer got some more stuff he want to bring out. A couple of videos and stuff. We ain't gonna get it? Go to Luke 1:68.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up an horn of salvation for us, and a house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies.
So the Israelites, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, the ones that want to take the vaccine all the time, we gonna be saved from what?
From our enemies.
We're going to be saved from all this stuff. All we have to do is keep Christ, God's, the Most High God, and Christ's laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right. And from the hand of all that hate us.
Now, they try to perpetrate like they like us now, right? Because they want us to take that vaccine. Right. But we know that you hate us.
Right.
You've been showing this ever since we got here. All you ever showed us was hatred.
Right.
And you still showing it.
That's right.
That's it.
So read on. Scientists adjudged
the dark. Scientists adjudge the dark skin of Africans as a biblical curse that set them aside as eternal servants to other men.
That's some evil stuff right there.
Evil.
That's the religious oppression that we talked about, because they thinking that, oh, well, y'all Ham was cursed, and he was cursed with dark skin, the curse of Ham.
The hell is this?
Wow. That's some evil stuff. Black Americans
were thought of as a race that was biologically identical to the African race, and there originally was some logic to this.
Jump down to according to.
According to ethnologists of the American school, blacks' features marked them as a different species.
The hell is this?
Large buttocks and genitals that indicated hypersexuality. A head covering that was not hair, but analogous to the wool of livestock.
To the what?
To the wool of livestock.
To the wool of livestock.
Right. Bring it out.
That was pretty gay that first.
Yeah. But you know, Esau's a base people.
Wow.
They are base people.
It's heavy.
So go to get that in Revelation.
This is the book of Revelation.
And then I want Daniel too. Revelation. Get whichever one you got first.
I'm gonna get Revelations 1 and 14. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 1 and verse 14. Bring it out. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
We're talking about Jesus Christ. His head and his hair were white like wool. It says black features marked them as a different species. I'm gonna jump down, but analogous to, a head covering that was not hair. They didn't even consider woolly hair.
Right.
Because they were so used to that damn dog, stringy beast hair that they got on their head.
Bring it out.
They can't even fathom that woolly hair.
Right.
Right. That
belongs
Christ-like fro.
to humans.
Right.
Right.
To
They like-
humans.
They say, yo, this is a whole nother species
Right.
with this woolly
Wow.
They're like, damn, these people ain't even got bugs in their head.
hair. Yeah, exactly.
Wait till they
No
see
lights,
Christ.
no, what
Right.
the hell?
Wait till they see Christ. Black and Charlie.
That's right.
Oh, it's gonna be hell to tell the captain.
Right.
It says a head covering that was not hair, but analogous to the wool of livestock. Read that.
The size of the skull.
No.
I'm sorry.
Said his head and his hairs was white like wool.
His head and his hair was white like wool. Who are we talking about? Jesus Christ, who is a black man.
Right. Yes.
And guess what? He looks like his heavenly father
Right.
with that same woolly hair that they say that can't belong to humans. They gotta be of another planet.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
The reason he sat is because he has a body. Guess what? God has a body. Go ahead.
Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
And the hair of his head like the pure wool. Like the pure wool.
That's
Did
right.
you read the scripture earlier, they tongue would fall. What did it say? They tongue would
They make them tongues to tell on themselves.
tell on themselves. They telling you in their own history,
Right.
in their own documentation,
Right.
that black people have woolly hair.
Right.
Hair
The
like
Bible
Christ.
documents that there's a nation of people with woolly hair.
That's right.
There's a God with woolly hair. Why? Because
That's
he's a
right.
black man.
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing,
That's
right?
beautiful right
Hey,
there.
officer,
That's
you know
beautiful.
how Esau know they messed up right here in this book? Because now if you Google woolly hair, it say like a deformity in white people or something like that. They way off, bro.
It's too late now.
Right, that's how they
Hey,
know they messed up.
They can't mess with Deacon Ithai. Deacon Ithai
Right.
got all the books. So you go
And
back to the 1800s, 1600s.
He can
so
go to any century.
any
Right.
century.
He can go to any time period. It don't matter.
It's over now.
Right.
It's a wrap.
Israel is here.
We
Israel
here.
is here to stay.
We're back. The prophets are back, and they're black with woolly hair. Bring it out.
Go ahead.
It says the size of the skull determined by painstaking but rigid measurements, the prognathous facial angles of blacks, and thick lips that testify to their ape-like nature.
Damn, to the ape-like nature. They considered us as nothing more than beasts, which is why even up that thought process that didn't change over the centuries.
That's right.
Their processes, their procedures, their methods have changed. They have to be much more crafty
Bring it out.
Right.
because we're not in chattel slavery no more. But guess what? The thought is still the same.
Still the
They're
same.
nothing more than apes.
That's it.
Nothing more than beasts. Go ahead.
Had scientists of the era more correctly noted that apes and chimpanzees have the thinnest of lips, they doubtless would have ignored the feature before they credited
Ignore this feature.
They doubtless would have ignored this feature before they credited blacks with such an evolutionary advance.
He said, had scientists of the era more correctly noted that apes and chimpanzees have the thinnest of lips, they doubtless would have ignored this feature before they credited blacks with such an evolutionary advance.
Right.
Cut themselves.
Esau,
Right.
If you Google like monkey lips and white people lips, it's like a bunch of pictures on Google. bro.
because it's the same thing.
Right. White people don't have lips.
They don't have no lips. They have
They
cutouts.
cuss in their faces.
That's
like,
it. The Lord gave them cutouts, and that's
Google,
it.
Google Hillary Clinton. It's right there.
Yeah,
Look at
all of them.
Yeah. They try to put that on us, man. But they really those people, and they was those cavemen. They was all that. Anything that was degrading on the earth, it was them because they was the basis of people.
The basis of people. Exactly. Exactly. So we got a handful of minutes left. We got like 3 minutes left. So go to, how long is that superhero video? Huh?
248.
Cool.
Bring it out.
So we gonna show y'all. This is funny as hell.
Thanks.
But we gonna show everything that's being said in this video is biblical. It's spiritual. Understand that. They just put a funny twist to it, but guess what? It's recorded in the Bible.
That's right.
That's right.
Hey guys, yeah, RDC TV here. We know it's the 21st and we see you guys with your capes. We were trying to see if you would explain how you're going to use your powers for good.
Explain? Nigga, we ain't explaining shit, nigga. Hey, this the news, huh? Hey, at the days of niggas explaining shit to y'all niggas, that shit is over. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But what we can do is flex these powers on your head top. Hey, show him what you can do real fast. Show. You got it. Hey, that's only one power he got. That's fine. Hey, show him. You up next. Go on. Hey, and we call that nigga folk flat. Yes, we got hero names. What you think mine is? Heater, boy. Hey, you know what it is. Hey, hold on. Let him come back. Jump man here. Jump man. Stop playing with us. Hey, so now that we got these powers, we want to enact a few changes for y'all. The first thing is how y'all did us in the 17 and 1800s. That's how we gonna do y'all.
Wait. What do you mean?
What you mean? You stupid?
What do you mean?
I said what y'all did to us in the 1700s and 1800s, that's what we gonna do to y'all. So if y'all did good to us, y'all ain't got nothing to worry about.
Exactly. Are you referring to slavery?
Hey, nigga, you said it about us. Hey, you said that. You said that. That's all we said. Hey, and them $600 stimulus checks, y'all gonna live off that shit.
Yeah, y'all live exactly.
Exactly.
Y'all got that.
Y'all vaccines, y'all doing that shit first. Everything that y'all made us do, you doing. Cause how you gonna stop us? Not saying we gonna do nothing. But how you gonna stop us? Hey, so I just want to tell news one more thing real fast. Hey, we a new Justice League. You know what I'm saying? Folk flat, jump man, we a new Justice League. So y'all gonna do what we say, all right? Now broadcast this to everybody, because if we don't see this broadcasting, we gonna come see y'all. We gonna come see y'all, all right? So Justice League, who? Yeah, folk flat, jump man, heater, and every other black person you see, they all the Justice League too. Hey, y'all better do what we say. We gone.
All praises to the Most High. We're gonna end it on this. Revelation chapter 13. Y'all know what I want. We're gonna end it on this. Revelation chapter 13.
The book of Revelations, chapter 13 and verse 10.
Bring it out.
He that leadeth.
Start at verse 9.
Verse 9. If any man have an ear.
If you got an ear, what the brother just said on the video, come on.
Let him hear.
Understand what we're getting ready to read.
He that leadeth into captivity.
He that leadeth into captivity.
Shall go into captivity.
Shall go into captivity.
That's right. That's right.
Damn. He that killeth with the sword.
He that killeth with the sword.
Must be killed with the sword.
Must be killed with the sword.
That's right.
It ain't no option.
Right.
It ain't no option. So with that, we're going to say shalom. Most High in Christ bless. Y'all are tuned in to Inner Scripts. Reloaded. Shalom.
You are listening to In the Scripts Reloaded.